There was something strange about my grandfather. He never spoke a single word. Not because he didn't want to, but because he couldn't. We called him Grandpa Ben. Everyone in the family got used to his silence, the gentle nods, the kind smile, and those eyes that told stories better than any voice ever could. When he passed, we cleaned out his room as a way to say goodbye. That's when we found something that would change everything we thought we knew. A wooden frame, old, dusty, quietly hanging behind a cabinet door. Inside it was a single pressed butterfly, pale blue and violet, delicate as a memory. No label, no inscription, just the butterfly. And the silence of 3 generations. I still remember the afternoons he'd sit beneath the oak tree in our backyard, staring off into the distance. Grandma used to say he was the keeper of quiet in our family. But silence didn't mean invisibility. Whenever I was sad, he wouldn't say anything. He'd simply pour me a warm cup of cocoa and slide it over. We'd sit together, not saying a word, and yet I felt completely understood. Mom told me he lost his voice in the war. An explosion had stolen his speech, but not his soul. Once, I asked him using sign language, "Did you ever fall in love?" He just nodded and stared toward the window, where the fading sun lit up that old wooden frame on his wall. I didn't understand back then, but now I do. We almost threw the frame away, thinking it was just another old keepsake. But the wooden backing was loose, as if someone had once hidden something inside. When we opened it, tucked behind the faded velvet lining was a letter. The paper was yellowed, the ink smudged, the handwriting shaky, but still readable. On the envelope, it said, "To whoever finds this when I'm no longer here." We were stunned. I held the letter, unfolded it, and read the first line aloud, and immediately felt a lump in my throat. I once had a voice, and I used it to promise I'd find her. He wrote about a girl named Lena, a quiet crush from his youth. She loved butterflies, chased them barefoot across spring fields. They never officially dated, just exchanged glances, shared stories, and one simple promise. Next season, I'll take you to see the butterflies in the pine forest. But war came. He left in a hurry, no goodbyes. Just a butterfly, pressed and tucked into a book she liked, with a note, "Keep this until the day you see me again." But she never did. He returned from war, without a voice, and without Lena. Her home had someone else living there. They said she moved away during the chaos. No one knew where. So he kept the last butterfly, hung it in a frame. He never married. That's why he stared out the window so often. Not out of sadness, but hope. Hope that Lena, somewhere, had also kept her promise. I folded the letter back up, but I felt like I had just walked through an entire lifetime. My grandfather, the quietest man I had ever known, had been carrying a love story no one had ever heard, a promise never fulfilled, and a kind of love that didn't need words. Because it lived quietly, fully, for a lifetime. We kept the wooden frame, hung it right back where it had always been. And every time I look at that pale blue butterfly, I remember, some things don't need to be spoken to be real. They still live on, like a butterfly, weightless, but enough to make someone's heart tremble in silence.